Hello guys, that was weird. What's going on with my voice? Welcome to a new reading vlog. So for today I am going back to Metropolis bookstore and I'm purchasing a ton of books and I'm going to do 2 vlogs out of it. So as you know, this is a recent find of mine. I adore it because it's got such a unique collection of books. I don't know about everybody else, but I find that when you're on booktube or you're on Goodreads, you end up just reading the same books as everyone around you. And I find that most bookstores too all stock very similar books. So it's not easy to find something weird and unique. And it's the same with the library service. They'll just get in whatever is popular and brand new, and they tend to shy away from the more, I'd say, esoteric or taboo kind of books, which personally I really enjoy reading. Even if I don't enjoy the book, it was an interesting experience having read it. So I decided that for this bookstore, I'm going to buy some that interest me and then some that I think are just absolutely bonkers or look like I am in for a ride. Probably not something I'm going to enjoy, but something that might be interesting for me to talk about. Because as I said, next year I'm going back to my pretty much almost no purchasing ways, just hitting up my library only. This was my sort of year of abandon with purchasing books and, like I said, shining a spotlight on independent bookstores. So yeah, I'm going to split it into 2. Today's one I'm calling Strange and Unusual Books from Metropolis. So these are the ones that appeal to me in some way and I'm interested in. Kate is meant to be coming. I don't know if she is yet. I'm still waiting to hear back from her. Hopefully she can make it. If not, it's okay. She'll be there with me in spirit. Let's head back again to Metropolis and see what treasures I can dig up. Okay, I am back from my trip. So I will show you all the books that I'm reading for this particular Strange and Unusual vlog. I've already read one. This is Gustavo, the Shy Ghost by Flavia S. Drago. And this is gorgeous. So it's got beautiful spot gloss on the cover. It says Gustavo is a ghost, a very shy ghost, and more than anything, he wants to make a friend. This ghost is bloody gorgeous. And so is this book. So I'll just show you a few of the illustrations. I like the illustration style. I love the story. I think it's so darn sweet and adorbs. And I would recommend, if you have kids, had a blast. Definitely a picture book I would recommend. Kate could not come, unfortunately, but she did send me a list of books that she would have chosen had she come. One of which is called Little Birds Erotica by Anai Nin. So this is the cover. I have already read 2 stories, so I'll tell you about the 2 stories I read. The first one is called Little Birds. And it is about a man who literally is doing the, "You kids want some candy?"
You like popsicles?
Well, sure.
Then you need to come on down to the cellar. I got a whole freezer full of popsicles.
And is luring little schoolgirls from across the road into his apartment by turning it into a menagerie filled with birds. And whilst the girls are looking at said birds, he walks in with a kimono opens a kimono, does a bit of a flash of his huge Johnson, and the little girls take fright like little birds and run away. I'm like, okay, let's read the next one. So the next one is called The Woman on the Dunes. And in this story, you've got a gentleman who's a peeping Tom, and he's watching a woman and a man engaged in coitus, and then he takes himself down to the beach where another woman decides to go for a swim. So they both strip down in the buff and frolic about the waves, and then they go on shore and they have a lot of sex. And then she proceeds to tell him that she recently watched someone be hung, and whilst she was standing there watching the man be hung, some unidentified man came up behind her and banged her from behind. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting set of stories. I will be reading all these books in full, so we'll see how we go. The way they're written, it's very easy to read. The subject matter, on the other hand, is quite lewd, quite perverse, so we'll see if the other stories are of a similar nature, but I've started this one. So I'll show you the rest of the books that I am going to read for this particular vlog. So we've got Witches, Sluts, Feminists by Kristen J. Soleil, and it says Conjuring the Sex Positive. So this is a nonfic read. I tried to grab books from a few different genres, so it's not all just fiction. And then I picked up Monica by Daniel Close. So this is a graphic novel, and this is the back of the book. I've also got The Psychographist by Carson Winter. So this is a horror book. Another one is this poetry book called I Rot by Lana Valdez. So they've got all these little, this is $20. They've got all these little soft touch velvet, which a lot of their books are soft touch, are rose petal finish, and they're itty bitty, they're so small, but they've got gorgeous covers. So it's hard not to just buy all of their little editions of these. And then the final book for this particular vlog is called Rainbear by Never Angeline North. And just look at this cover. WTF, bro. And on the back, you've got a little weeping strawberry. So there's that one. I will do a caveat and mention that this bookstore specializes in art and design books. So I have not bought any art, fashion, architecture, film books, which is what they specialize in, because look, a lot of those books start at the $100 mark. Like, they're very expensive, but that is literally the meat and bones of this bookstore, anything to do with art and design. Whereas I've shopped from the fringes of their weird fiction, graphic novel, non-fic, poetry sections. So do keep that in mind, that I haven't actually purchased what their area of expertise is in. In the future, I might do a vlog buying from that kind of section, literally like 5 books for $500, but not at the moment. If I make bank this year, I might do that. But like I said, if you love anything that's to do with art and design, this book's got you, babes. But those are all the books that I'm going to read in this particular vlog, and I will be reading all of them in full. Will I find any 5 stars? Probs not, but I'm sure I'll have something to talk about. Good morning, guys. So I've read quite a few of the books because I woke up at 2 a.m. You gotta love chronic insomnia. So yeah, I had a lot of reading time. That's the bonus of that. So let's start off with Little Birds, Erotica by Anai Nin. Perverse and taboo sex, but make it highbrow. This is the vagina, see? And this is the penis, see? And they go like this, see? I would say the story's definitely, very run-of-the-mill sex stuff. So some incest, some R to the A to the P to the E, undressing your sleeping wife, drawing her naked body, and then masturbating over the pictures, ethnic fetishes, just the normal stuff, guys. I gave it 2.5 stars. I would say unless you have cats are playing, rough, unless you have very distinct kinks and you want them done in a very literary, sort of skirting the surface way, I would probably recommend Literotica, the website, over this. This was like blowing up a balloon, and it's blowing, it's blowing, it's building up the tension, and then it goes and just completely deflates. It's somewhat titillating, but it's not great. I write erotica for myself and my exes, and this didn't really do anything for me in that aspect. There's one thing I have to mention. At one point in one of the stories, the women were cutting into the crotch of their knickers, and I'm like, girls, hook it to the side. Stop ruining your underwear. So look, this wasn't for me, but I would say read it if you like peep shows, taboo kinks, nylon stockings, and erectile dysfunction. I forgot to add that for a book written by a 9-in, I felt like this was very old man gazy. So that's also something I didn't quite enjoy about it. There was also man-woman and woman-woman, but no gay stuff. And then I picked up Monica by Daniel Close, so I will show you the illustration style to get an idea of what it's like. This is about a woman's life, so it sort of shows how her mother begins with her mother and then goes throughout her life. There's also some weird supernatural stories about other characters thrown in here, but basically this, to me, felt like a really shitty LSD trip. I did not enjoy it that much, which is why I gave it a 2 stars. I just didn't care about any of the characters. I didn't particularly love the illustration style either. I can see how it's trying to represent psychedelic trippiness. It was set in the 70s. But yeah, it doesn't do much for me. There were some cult aspects going on, and she's basically on a quest to find her mum who abandoned her and to discover who her dad is, because she don't know. And then it ends in a very bizarro way. So I would say read it if you like weird, creepy stuff, shitty mums and mummy issues, the 70s psychedelics, and Pam Poovey from Archer, because she's giving major Pam. And then I read I Rot by Lana Valdez. So it says that this is a book about believing in redemption time and time again, and girls just trying to do their best, coming of age in the rapture. So yeah, there is kind of biblical God stuff in this. It was okay. It was fine. Probably my favorite line was the way he's able to make butterflies from bruises, the way his father taught him and his grandfather before. It was okay, but I don't know, guys, $20 for like, this is obviously very small, tiny, and it's still only like 45 pages of this very tiny print. I feel like it's a lot. It's a lot of money. So like I said, I would give it a 3 stars. It was fine. I love the cover. I think the cover's really cool. I'd say read it if you like antique stores, religious fervor, and as it says on the back, falling for boys with sharp teeth. Then we've got Rainbear. Okay, so this book is drugs. All the drugs at the same time in overdose. It is like an AI video of one thing turning into something else even weirder ad infinitum. I'm going to read you 3 random passages from this book, and whatever you think this book is about, all of you are right. On the west side of the house is a pool of cum, from the middle of which emerges a very large penis, frequently spurting cum. Right now it is soft, flopped right over in its own little pool, so I take a break from my flotations and step outside to cuddle it a little. It doesn't take long to get fully stiff. I wouldn't call it hard, because the skin is so soft. And so I fuck it some, and then go into the ocean to wash the cum from my hair and skin and asshole. Salt water is very good for the skin and hair, as is cum. When Sweet Angel calls my name, I return to her, wet and salty. The barista looks at me like I am a crime, and my pee turns into potatoes as it crosses the door's threshold. Here I am no one's god and no one's dream girl, I say out loud, as my potatoes thud, one by one, onto the forbidden topsoil. When I open the door to the coffee shop, it tells me I am alive, and I say, Yeah, so what, bitch? Suck it. The barista has carved the word rebar on my floor table. He acts busy cleaning out the espresso maker, but I know he did it. We are the only ones in the room. I use a fork and alter it so it says, a rare bear. I try to draw a tiny baby above it, but it doesn't turn out well. So I scratch it out and draw a dragon eating the barista. The dragon has a giant dick and is also farting, which I draw as a little poofy cloud with the word fart next to it. It takes up most of the table. I touch my chimney. The soreness has mostly faded, but it is still a little tender. I hear the barista mewling at me from across the room, but I don't look up. Right now, I am eating first meal past second sleep, and it is black, none, which is a good colour for being all restful with friends, but not sleep like a full sleep. I am writing you this letter during this time, and I think it is a good time for writing because I know how to do that during black, none, which is nice. I'm thinking about really out there things lately. Like I saw that small girl who is a girl like me, but small, and wow, it's making me think about so many things out there things. Like today, I was thinking about what if there was a new colour, like not even like purple or pink, that I believe in both, but what if it was grey-red? I know, I cannot stop laughing at this. Like what a good joke, how out there it is. I did make believe that it was grey-red and it felt so good and different and so grey-red. My whole body self felt like I was made of all dear sick love of all things. Wow! Rainbear! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation mark. I have nothing else to say about it. I did give it a 1.5 stars, and I would say, read it if you like Starfire from Teen Titans, Mewling, Bizarre Hallucinations, and I Love Lamp.
I love lamp. I love lamp.
Okay, so that brings us to the final 2 books. I don't think they're going to be as weird as wacky as the ones from before. So we've got Witches, Sluts, and Feminists by Kristen J. Soleil, and I've already started this and I'm enjoying it thus far. It starts with the author saying that she had a massive crush on Maleficent, and those step on me mummy vibes, I get it, girl. It's obviously a topic I like. It's feminism, witches, sluts, fantastic. So we'll see how it goes. And then we've got the horror, The Psychographist by Carson Winter. And this says it's about an American family who have a house they can't afford, 2 kids, and a deep desire for more. And it says a Mr. Cormorant comes to town and might be able to help them cash in on their American dream. He's a psychographist, an expert in consumer personas, and he's testing a product, and he's picked the Hoyas for this task. Live with it, breathe it in, abide by its demands, and in return, riches, the cost immeasurable. So it says it's a disturbing novel of consumption advertising focus groups, and I'm peeling off the sticker. Are you going to come off nice? You going to play ball? No, you did not. And the decisions that define us. This is also rose petal. What's a rose petal? This could be real messed up and fucked up. It's horror. We'll see. It didn't sound too scary, which is why I picked it for like mildly interested in. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this has been such an interesting time. What freaks me out though is I'm going back to Rainbear. This book, which is completely nonsensical to me and is beyond fever dream, it has a rating of 4.3. The majority of people who have read this book have loved it. And I'm just sitting here thinking, do we live in the same world with the same reality? I don't know. I'll just read one person's review from this. I love this a lot. The next person. This was so fun to read. I kind of get it because it is just so absurd and completely sort of ridiculous and illogical. And maybe people really just like simmering in a cloud soup of ridiculousness. But yeah, for me, it wasn't for me. So I will see you guys when I've read some more books. Today, the kids and I are going to Monopoly Dreams, which is this sort of like experience in the city, and we'll go and get some food around there and come home because it's a lovely winter's day. But I'll see you guys when I return. Did you?
I saw it.
Let me see. That's very cute.
See, that makes me have a stomach.
I have to get some. Yep. No, I don't think so. Galaxy. Excuse the cat shadow, but this is what I got today. So let's see what's inside the mystery meows. Okay, hopefully the washer isn't that loud, but we've returned from yesterday. As you can tell, I'm having a bit of a flare up as I do when I go out, but it was worth it. Monopoly Dreams, I would say save your money. It's quite pricey and I don't think it's worth the money. I would 100% recommend Son-in-Law. The sweet buns we had were fantastic. I had a coconut pandan one. I would go back for their bows, burgers and pizzas. They were just so cute and delicious. And the girls really loved the Innis tea perfume bottles that look like Chanel No. 5 but contain boba tea. So Melbourne Central was the shopping centre we went to. It's very labyrinthine. It is massive. We did not even scratch the surface of all the stores and the levels, so it's somewhere we will have to return to. But it is very cool. There are some cool stores in there, especially that little artist shop through the rainbow corridor I bought some things from. But let me finish off this reading vlog, and I apologize for my voice. So I did finish The Psychographist by Carson Winter. This is a book about incest, murder and consumerism, I guess. I gave it a 1.5 stars. It's not for me. I gave it 1.5 stars because it's so easy to read, and it's easy to read because it's mostly dialogue and it's written in a very simple language. So I'd say read it if you like horror stories that include incest, murder, and human beings being under the control of products. And the last book that I picked up for this reading vlog is Witches, Sluts, Feminists by Kristen J. Soleil. I'll read you a little excerpt of what a witch and a feminist is. The idea of the witch has always been about subversive feminine power that doesn't align with conventional norms. It has been used to control and demonize women consistently. Women who had privileged economic positions, women who were smart, women who had expertise in medicine, women who were outspoken, women who were sexually promiscuous. Female independence and sexual independence is still frightening because it liberates us from oppressive structures and having to rely on a patriarchal system to grant us power. So this was basically like a collection of short essays and interviews. It reminded me sort of like of BuzzFeed articles. Some were good. My favorite one was about midwives. I think midwives are fucking badass. I was heavily contemplating becoming one at one point, but I realized that not all babies and mothers make it through childbirth, and I don't think I had the constitution to be able to handle that. But I gave birth at home with 2 midwives, and I am in nothing but awe of them. I think they're phenomenal. So that was my favorite, like, little mini essay in here. Most of these to me were mid. Some I didn't care for. Hillary Clinton's. I don't know if I would recommend it. I'd say borrow it from the library rather than purchasing it yourself. I did like this one woman's explanation of what a witch is to her. They just randomly interviewed people on the street and asked them, what is a witch to you? And she says, it's Kim, who's 28. An archaic term for a magical or otherwise misunderstood but demonstrably powerful woman, a healer, a feminist, a trendy Etsy skull ring collector, a bitch with skills. So I did like that part. I think there's probably better books out there in terms of these subjects. I think the cover is fantastic. It's very eye-catching. But yeah, it wasn't really for me. If I was going to give it a rating, it would be a 3. Like, it's fine. And now I'm going to go through all of the books that I read in order of worst to best. So starting with The Psychographist by Carson Winter, which I gave a 1.5 stars. Rainbear by Neva Angeline North, which I gave 1.5 stars. Monica by Daniel Close, which I gave 2 stars. Little Birds Erotica by Anai Nin, which I gave 2.5 stars. I Rot by Lana Valdez, which I gave 3 stars. Witches, Sluts, Feminists by Kristen J. Soleil, which I gave 3 stars. And my favourite read of this reading vlog was Gustavo the Shy Ghost by Flavia S. Drago, which is like a 5-star picture book for me. It's fun. It has meaning. The illustrations are gorgeous. The cover is stunning. And we just enjoyed our time with it. I saw the emotion flit across my daughter's face when no one rocked up to Gustavo's party. So this was my favorite read of this vlog. How do I felt? This vlog went well. I had something that I thought was worth my time. The rest of them were mid to awful. I think it was my first lowest ranking of the month so far with a 1.5 star. But it was to be expected. It is a haul of books that are weird and I have never heard of before and were shots in the dark. I am slightly more terrified for the next lot of books because the next lot of books are the ones that were really weird. So I guess going into that one, I'll be expecting just ones across the board. But yeah, it's still interesting to read outside of your comfort zone. I still like doing it because you never know. And even though I didn't enjoy the reading experience, they were interesting in their own way. But that's everything for this strange and unusual reading vlog. Until next time, stay wild, Star Child.